Welcome back. We're going to go over the five, talking about the Luigi Mangioni shooting the healthcare CEO. I just think it's funny to look at these mainstream news people and see how they're reacting to this. So let's see how out of touch they are.
Suspected killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson screaming like a lunatic to reporters gathered and literally had to be dragged into his extradition hearing in Pennsylvania. Take a look.
Oh my God! That is completely out of touch, and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
Luigi Mangioni was denied bail and is fighting extradition as the NYPD works to get him back to New York and face charges of second-degree murder for the cold-blooded slaying of Brian Thompson on the streets of Midtown Manhattan.
Cold-blooded.
Okay, it's very interesting. Right now, New York is attempting to extradite him, which is a very simple process, Joey, where they basically say, we have...
I mean, not to be sexist, but why is the lady the one holding him? There's two men right there. Why wouldn't the men be the ones escorting him?
Criminal charges of murder too, and the DA goes to the governor signs it, and then they take it to the governor in Pennsylvania, and they say, this is the guy and these are the charges. It's very simple, and they're not agreeing to do it. They want to fight. But he'll be extradited and brought back to New York. Do you think he should be charged by Alvin Bragg, the progressive Manhattan DA, or should this be brought to the feds to prosecute under President Donald Trump?
You know, that's a really good point. I haven't thought about that till you just asked the question. Thank you for putting me on the spot with my not law degree. I would love to see the federal government prosecute this because I think it needs to be a case that sets a precedent. I mean, the fact is, even I see in my life, the vulnerability of people that are in the public eye is huge in this country. I mean, our own president was almost shot. It's one of the unique things about this country. It's one of the amazing things about this country. You can go to LA and see a celebrity in a coffee shop, or you can go to New York and find the CEO of a company coming out of his hotel. None of us are secure. So I think people like this need to be made an example of, and for that reason, I would love to see it go to the federal level. Two things can be true at one time. This guy can be unhinged, deranged, and completely crazy, and also a cold-blooded killer, and he should be treated as one.
You know, it's interesting, Dana. On the one hand, they said last night it was...
Well, if you're going to call him unhinged and completely crazy, don't you get off for that? You're not allowed to be tried if you're not sane or whatnot.
It's very quiet, but then once he saw the press, he started screaming about how unjust it was and you know, like he's got some kind of a message.
So I don't know what his mental health status is, and that will have to be something that's a part of this. I also agree it should be charged federally because we've seen what happens here. And I think that it's disgusting how some people say, oh, this is because of the insurance industry. Check yourself on that, especially...
Ooh, check yourself on that.
If you're on the left. And how do you think we ended up in a place where there is less competition and fewer good products in the insurance industry? It is messed up, I agree. But that's not because people weren't suggesting a better way. If you think socialized medicine is a better way, knock yourself out. Yeah. Go to Canada and try to find a specialist.
Go to VA.
Go to Scotland. Go to England. It is a disaster.
Right.
And you can end up with, let's say, an elderly...
Well, in those countries, you'll get treated more likely. In our country, if you got money, you'll get treated. If you ain't got money, you won't get treated. So, I mean, if you don't have enough money, it's better to live there.
Woman like my late stepmother-in-law, was a UTI, can't get attention. 18 weeks go by. This woman couldn't get care. And you think that that's better? And I can understand how frustrated people get on all sides of the thing. But when you say that healthcare is a right, as Bernie Sanders did today, he said he disagreed with the violence, but he said, but he's showing us what people have come to know, that healthcare is a right. Okay, if you believe that, how are you paying for it? Let's just have the discussion. Let's have the debate. You just have the slogan.
So with income inequality, the top 10% own like something like 80% of the wealth. So they need to pay 80% of the taxes. That's how you pay for it.
And then you don't do anything about it. And then you sit there behind people like Taylor Lorenz, who is somebody who should never be interviewed again. Yep. She seeks the attention. She's got a problem. It is not right. So it's despicable what happened. And you had people on CNN comparing Daniel Penny.
It says Taylor Lorenz felt joy over CEO's murder. That's not what she said. She said when she heard about the murder, she felt joy because, and then she started to say something, but then got cut off. She felt joy because it's going to open up the conversation. She's not feeling joy because the guy died. But even if she did, who cares?
To this guy? That's disgusting to me.
No.
Working with Truck Stop means we listen to carriers.
They obviously.
But they're very disingenuous. They feel joy when people die all the time. They're going to talk crap about this Luigi guy and probably feel joy if he gets what do you call it, the death penalty. The killer of Jordan Neely. They're all celebrating him. He's a hero. If you're celebrating calling somebody a hero, isn't that kind of being joyous over the death of the person that the hero killed?
Jesse, you know, Macho Man over here was yelling yesterday when they picked him up at McDonald's in Altoona. He started shaking, and this morning it looks like he peed in his pants after being arrested. Is he a tough guy or what?
No, I saw the wet spot in the groin, and I immediately thought he soiled himself. We'll have a follow-up on that tonight at 8
Where's
o'clock.
the picture?
Yeah, look.
So on that point, I got arrested one time when I was like 24, 25, something like that. And I got pulled over and I had to pee. And the cop was about to put me in his car and I told him, hey, I got to pee really bad. Like, let me go pee in this, we were by a ditch or whatever, you know, the side ditch on the road. So let me go pee in the ditch. And he's like, no. And I'm like, if you don't let me pee, I'm going to pee in the car. Like, I have to pee. I'm not going to be able to hold it for, you know, more than another 5 minutes or so. He's like, all right, fine. So I went down in the ditch and I started peeing. And I was peeing and he's like, okay, you're done. And I'm like, I'm not done. You can hear me peeing, right? And so, like, I mean, had he kept me in the car, I'd have pissed on myself. And I mean, just if you're going home and then you got to pee on the way home and you get incarcerated or whatever, and they don't let you pee, you're just going to let it out on yourself. And he probably told him he had to pee, and they probably were like, just stay in the car, and made him pee on himself. That doesn't mean he was scared. It just means they're messing with him.
Look, it looks like he wet himself.
No, he's in blue. Put that one up.
Not that picture.
That one.
Picture. If you zoom in, you can see wet himself. Now, maybe he spilled a Diet Coke from Mickey D's. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is not a good look. I spoke to some sources.
Whatever this guy's name. If you set him in a car for 5 hours, he's going to pee on himself.
Community who says why people like this are praising this guy. One, the bad boy factor. Women are coming out of the woodwork saying this guy, I want to be your Bonnie and Clyde. You know, you look for damaged guys. That's kind of a sick fantasy that women have.
Some.
I heard you giggle. Some women. They also say that there's an empathy that's misfiring. Like when Dana said that Daniel Penny is the bad guy and Luigi's the good guy, that's also a problem. There's also this
So Daniel Penny is the guy that killed Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely's the homeless dude that could have used some health care. The guy, CEO, is the guy out there denying health care. So Luigi Mangioni kills this dude. It's a big circle. It's all related.
Dog situation where people
they didn't do it all because of each other, but I mean these situations all lead to each other or whatnot.
People root for high status individuals to be taken down, humiliated. Like, remember people used to laugh at Trump when he was on trial, or when the King of England got the pie in the face. People like to see that, but there's a sicker faction.
Why do you think people like to see that? If the rich and wealthy and those in power were really doing what they're supposed to do and taking care of the people, do you think people would want to see them hurt?
That group that wants people hurt. They want people dead. And that's probably because they've been so desensitized and isolated with social media. They've just gone totally wacko. Now, I had emergency back surgery.
I wonder when the pie in the face was, but they've been totally, because of social media, desensitized because of social media. It's not that. It's because they don't have anything. It's because people are living paycheck to paycheck. It's because the CEOs are denying health care and kids are dying, parents are dying. It's not because of, and the only reason that social media helps, it gets everybody connected. Now we know more stories. Now we know that it's not just us. Now we know that they're doing it to everybody. So that part makes social media kind of culpable, but it's just showing how widespread this BS is.
Surgery. And I was lucky enough to get into the operating room within 48 hours.
Who got money?
And the recovery was not easy. But because I was so mentally tough and humble, I pushed all of my feelings down below. And then I stuck to these habits. I redefined my entire life because it can dominate you mentally. If you have pain in your life, it can totally destroy you. And I think maybe what happened, this guy was going through something like that and might have taken a hallucinogenic drug and completely lost his mind, and he became homicidal.
Okay, thank you for that.
What kind of theory?
His family, who gave him a very privileged life, went to UPenn. He clearly was not someone who came up in a difficult upbringing. And what do you think's going on?
Valedictorian from Gilman, which is a
Smart
very
dude.
fancy school. Did very well at Penn. When you listen to the testimonials from people who knew him, this is a big shock to all of them, but his mother reported him missing on November 18th. And he had a few years ago, I think it was a surfing accident, had back surgery that obviously didn't work. His x-ray, I think, was found on his social media, and you can see the screws going in. And he never recovered. And pain can radicalize you. But this man, a murderer is no folk hero. And I haven't understood. I understand memes are really fun and people are really bored.
Aren't lots of murderers folk heroes? Like they said, Bonnie and Clyde earlier. Aren't those folk heroes, kind of?
He has incredible abs. But it's gross. And what it does to the family, Brian Thompson's family, this man who's a father of 2 kids, that people are out here.
So all the people that Brian Thompson killed, lots of them were parents, lots of them were children. He is responsible for so many more deaths than Luigi Mangioni is. Luigi Mangioni is only responsible for 1. Brian Thompson's responsible for probably thousands.
Talking about how they never would have snitched on him if he had gone to Burger King, or what the girls from Sex and the City would have
Snitches
said
get mixed
about him.
stitches. Nah, don't hurt nobody.
Diminishes a life that was taken, and also it diminishes
the like, share, and subscribe.
The debate about the healthcare system, which we should all be willing to have, but obviously you don't take action in this type of way.
We were trying to
And I
have the
think it's
debate
really
since
sad.
2016. Ain't nobody listening. Y'all, they listened for a minute, but then they shut us down. If they wouldn't have cheated Bernie, he would have beat Trump. We'd have our our universal health care, and this guy would be alive.
He is as schizophrenic as some are speculating. Also very sad. I hope he gets the treatment and the sentence that he deserves.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's going to.
But they really think he's
realize
crazy
what
and think that he
serious
should be
trouble
sentenced.
he's
That's
in.
weird.
I think there was a part of him that was playing games with, if that was his monopoly money, if destroy, deny, defend on the ammunition.
Also, the FBI better give that person their reward. I saw something that they might not get the full, they're offering $50,000 for it. And it's a big tip.
Okay.
Click here.
It's funny, though. She might not get the reward. The lady at McDonald's that turned him in, I heard that she called 911 and you got to call Crime Stoppers. So the $10,000 from New York she's not going to get. But then I think there's a number that you're supposed to call for the FBI, too, because they give you like a number or whatnot. Because if you call 911, then it's kind of like, it's not anonymous, but they don't give you the number, and I don't know why. But it's just, ways they can screw you. And then I also heard that you don't get the money until after the person's convicted. So if they get off, you don't get the money at all. But one thing I want to do is check out the comments sections and see what they're saying down here. I love hearing a bunch of millionaires telling the rest of us that our experiences with insurance companies don't count. You are so much better than the rest of us. I believe it's safe to say that most people have an unfavorable opinion of the insurance industry as a whole. I agree with a friend of mine who said, you know more about Luigi Mangioni within 24 hours than we know about Trump's 2 would-be assassins. So yeah, I've heard that too, but Luigi Mangioni was successful. If either one of Trump's attempted assassins were successful, I bet we know a lot more about them. But these guys are alive and Trump is alive, so I don't think they want to boost these guys up, because they might not go. They might go to jail for life, but they might not. But if they ever get out, they don't want them to be all famous and stuff for it. Don't act like the insurance industry hasn't always been a scam. This isn't left versus right issue for FF. Knock it off. It is a left versus right issue. The right is about capitalism, about capital. It's about money over people, money first, right? But the right thinks that if you do business the correct way, that money will line everybody up and it'll just work out. The left thinks that's not gonna work. We think that money will just always transfer up the way it's done through all of history, right? Just kind of the way the system seems to work. So we feel like we should socially plan or something like that, right? Corporate media is dying because this is how they cover things. I believe United Healthcare should be investigated. How can an insurance company have that much profit and turn down so many people being declined when they need their insurance? Sounds like a big scam, greed. So thousands murdered because of United Healthcare. So as you see in other comments, like, come on, people, like left and right. Left is social, society, or communism, community. Right is capital. Money ism. Capital stands for capital, like money. It's just the ism of that. It is a left and right thing, and I know people don't like to say that, but that's how the right likes to break words, so it makes it hard for us to communicate. If we don't even know what we're talking about, how are we going to communicate this? If you are against CEOs making millions and millions of dollars a year, like if you want to cap their pay, that's a left issue. Or that's a left thought, right? It's an issue. If we bring it up, it's an issue the right will have to say on it, but they'll say unlimited money for CEOs. Whatever you earn is what you earn. The left would say, hey, let's put a cap on that so that you can do your business for like the insurance companies or whatever. But if you say you want universal health care, everybody pays in, right? So you're going to have to tax the rich a little more. And then the poor people will benefit from the rich paying their fair share of taxes. And the right doesn't want that. Pay as little taxes as you can, keep your own money, and do what you want with it. So if you're making under $100,000 and you don't have to pay taxes, you're not saving that much money. When Elon Musk doesn't pay taxes on his billions and billions of dollars, he's saving hundreds of thousands and not millions of dollars. But before I get rambling too long, I'm gonna cover another couple videos about Luigi Mangioni from these mainstream guys. I just love their comment sections. I like reading them. I think they're funny. So I'll see you guys in a bit.